Yesterday, but one I saw in one of the groups that there's a say which goes, if you cannot beat them, join them. Have you joined this current Mkusa we judge?
I joined them. I joined the current Mkusa government on basis of supporting them, discharge their mandate. But I think up to wherever they've reached, they've done what is best for their personality or even their capacity.
Mr. Ageng'O, the current Mkusa, they have divided. They're not working as a team. Recently, when I was following some tweet, there's an event which is to be held in one of the building in MKU, that is auditorium. One team, the other team is supporting the event, the other one is not supporting the event.
What I can say on matters division, me, I'm not that much inclusive into the cabinet. I don't sit in boardrooms. I'm only called when matters arising should be handled.
Yeah.
But on issues division, I can't speak much. But the key reason to division in the current Mkusa government is self-interest.
So like the team which is against this thing is like they have been sidelined.
There is someone who has eaten the lion's share. That's why they have been sidelined and they are standing.
So how will you handle the inclusivity part of it? Let's assume now you are the next Mkusa. You are the next Mkusa chair.
On matters unity, you must, as a leader, you must be able, and you must be ready to hear from both sides. Whether you are the capitalist or you are the Democrat, you must be able to hear from various sides. You must be able to take various considerations. You must sit down on a round table, talk on matters contagious, and even have approaches and mechanisms on how to handle different personalities and even different attitudes. I think this will help us have a united government. If a member of the council has issues, I think there are various ways, the various civilized ways that you can handle matters. If you're not contented with my decision, we can sit down and discuss matters. And I think by the end of the day, we can have a very coarse environment for working together and ensuring unity among the student council.
Okay, in Mkusa, we have heard of the cry of disabled student, and we are MKU have a good number of these disabled students. But in Mkusa, there is no any representative of disabled students. In one of my talks, when I was doing a talk show with one of these disabled students, they told me they lack someone who can represent them in Mkusa. What is your take or thought according to this issue?
I think the current regime are just uninformed. Not on a bad note, but information is also key. Leadership. We can take the predecessors of the current regime under the presidency of Bill Kaunda. He had a very transformed policy on how to accommodate people with special needs, international students, and also he had transformed policies on how he could accommodate the larger institution. And you can see from his regime, he discharged his mandate, and though he was not at 100%, because nobody can be perfect, but he was at par with issues student council leadership. But with my personality, I can say the current regime did not get more information on how to discharge their mandate. I think their advisors were not that much detailed on how they should be discharging their mandate. And becoming a president of a big institution like this, you need advisors who are up to date with the current systems of leadership and even consultative schemes on how to ensure no party is left out in any way.
Just before I get out from this issue of special needs, they are in need of one of them to represent them in Mkusa, meaning Mkusa now should be more than 7. That is what I'm trying to bring in. Are you buying their idea?
I can buy the idea, but this institution has statutes and laws that must be followed. I think the Constitution gives a provision of special needs. They are given 2 nominated members in the cabinet that...
Are you sure they are there?
Yeah, the Constitution
in the constitution,
the constitution
but
highlights
kwa ground
the constitution. Just pardon me. The constitution highlights on nominated members, and I think people with special needs should be given at least 2 decades of the nominated specifications given by the law. But I think there is some personal restriction. That's why the law under Mkusa Charter has not been put in place. The ignorance among some of our leaders has made that not be in place. That's why you see they haven't been having a representation. But I can agree with the fact that they can be given their fair representation. The way international students should be given their fair representation in the cabinet. There must be a person representing people of the marginalized communities, international students, and people with special needs.
So let's talk of this Mkusa Kitty. It has been a song being sung almost by each and every Mkusa. Outgoing Mkusa also told us about the Mkusa Kitty, but there's nothing they've done about it. What do you think?
In my manifesto,
Yeah.
I haven't talked about Mkusa Kitty because this is a private institution anyway. But what I believe is when we have a concession between the student council and the senate, we can have the Mkusa Kitty back. But before we talk about Mkusa Kitty, me myself, I think I can make Mkusa independent from whatever we can do. And as I told you earlier, that issues stakeholders is very key in discharging mandate as a government. And I believe in stakeholdership more, of which the institution, Mount Kenya University Administration, comes in as a stakeholder. They should just be part, so that Mkusa Kitty do not be the most dependable source of income that we want to source funds from to help comrades. We can also do our things. We can also run our programs in the institution. We can also run there are charity things we can do within the institution. This is a very big institution with a population of over 60,000. We can do our policies unless otherwise, but we should not be depending on matters Mkusa Kitty only. We should be an extensive government that depends on various reliable sources of income so that we may handle the various problems comrades face. But on issues Mkusa Kitty, there have been no proper policies by the various respective persons, either from the administration side or the student leadership side, to handle matters Mkusa Kitty. That's why you see it has not been that intensive to help comrades within the institution.
This problem of delay of help, what is your idea and what can you say about the delay of help?
In my capacity as either a student leader or a Mkusa president to be, I can only advocate for this on grounds, though I don't like demonstrations as our predecessor presidents have been doing it, but this is an independent institutional given direction by the government. I think on issues health, we should team up with various student leaders from various institutions to work on a round table. Many of our student leaders from various institutions, they're just there for cloud chasing and not service. So I think when we team up as student leaders from all over the national grid, we can work together and fight a common enemy. But I, Ageng'O, myself, cannot fight it on my own. You can write as many letters as you can to the institution, but no approach will be done. And then we can also approach some various or specific personalities within that capacity, the help CEO and some help commissioners who can help us on this. On issues health, I can't speak much about it because we were just from a pandemic, but we can give it an approach on the coming future and see on how we can combat some of the challenges there undergoing.
So there's this very important issue that is affecting comrades, the issue of suicides. We have the issue of gambling, we have the issue of early pregnancy, we have this issue of abortion, just to mention but few. Such kind of immoralities, they are in the rise nowadays, especially in our campuses. What are some of the strategies you think you are going to use or to apply to curb such kind of immoralities?
When we start with issues abortion, you know, a person, you know, you cannot change a character of a person, and you know, abortions are procured depending on the situations one individual gets in. On issues abortion, I think if we have forums that we can talk, the institution has been doing that, but they have not been doing that mashinani, let me say kwa ground,
Yeah.
as people call it.
Yeah.
But they have been trying. I can give them a credit, but they need to do it as even out more so. You know, the larger population of these schools stays outside the institution.
That's true.
They must do mashinani campaigns